Good afternoon, Nicole. My name is Stefan Ortego, but feel free to call me Stefan if you feel though that is more comfortable for you. I really appreciate you taking the time to meet with me today and to discuss this job opportunity. I look forward to hearing about your background, IT sales. For the general purposes of this interview, I want to learn more about yourself, your skill set, and your background, IT sales. I'll start with a few broad questions and then lead into more specific questions as we go along. In total, it'll take about 10 to 15 minutes, and your answers will remain confidential. So let's begin. Tell me a bit about yourself and how you got into this field.
Yes, hi, Mr. Ortego. I started, I guess I have about 8 years of inside sales support experience. I have not worked directly in outside sales, but I'm very interested in transitioning to that. I've always had a fascination in it, and I feel like I have a real knack for people and, learning the products I need to learn and, you know, um, priorly, I worked for a communications company where I did inside sales support. I helped the sales team create opportunities. I've rid along on a few jobs and got to experience, in person, like outside sales. And I think I'd make a good fit for it.
That's awesome to hear, and it's great to hear about your work experiences and everything along those lines, which will lead into my next question. What motivates you in all of your professional life?
I what motivates me the most is, just wanting to provide a good life for me and my family. And, I have a lot of passions and stuff. I like to, of course, enjoy what I do, and I've always enjoyed IT. So yeah, that's what drives me, getting to go out there and support my family and be passionate about the work I do.
That's awesome to hear about how passionate you are about everything and how that, ties into your work experiences and what have you. That kind of leads into my next question, regarding IT. Where do you see yourself in the IT industry within the next 5 years?
Of course, I'd like to see myself in some sort of leadership role, perhaps, you know, overseeing a few lower level employees. I'd like to, be with a company where I can grow, versus staying stagnant and, just kind of plateauing.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Wanting to climb the corporate ladder is always something good to look forward to, especially building into it and whatnot. Um, how do you normally, or rather, why do you feel as though you fit our company and the IT sales industry at large?
Your company is known for its positive outreach, which is a big part of my life. Um, I've did a bit of research, and everything I've read about your company, I feel like I would fit into perfectly. I love the company's motto and everything I'll stand for, and it seems like it'd be a real positive place to be a part of, and I think I'd be a good part of that team.
I think you guys would be a good part of our team as well, and I'm glad that you really, researched our company and everything like that, and we appreciate you taking the time to do that. That leads into my next question, which is, how do you normally prioritize tasks when handling deadlines and multiple customers currently at your role where you're at the moment?
I'm a big scheduling person. I like to, input my daily task into a planner or whatever software I'm using. And I move things around accordingly. If something becomes more urgent than another, I can easily set it aside and deal with the more urgent task at hand. I feel like I do pretty well with handling high priority tasks.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. Um, how do you build strong relationships with your customers when managing so many of them at the same time?
Um, I believe it's all, taking the time for each person, getting to know them on a mildly personal level, asking about their current day, picking up on something about the person that I think we might have a common interest in, just not jumping straight into business, being personalized with people. And that's what they remember about you. At least that's what I remember about most people.
And being a very personable person and soft skills go really, really far in any type of career that you're wanting to pursue. So that's fantastic to hear from you. Um,
Great.
yeah. Can you bring up a specific time where you ran into any challenges during a specific sale and how you resolved that challenge?
Yeah. So, like I said, most of my experience is in inside sales. Um, I remember a particular situation where in my current field, which is optical, had a patient who got into a new type of lens that they'd never been in before, and was pretty impatient about allowing himself to adjust to his prescription, and he got the glasses day one and wanted an immediate refund. And I took the time with the patient, explained to him the ins and outs of his new prescription and his lenses and how it works. And he gave me more time. He was willing to try it again, and he even wanted to, upgrade his cell and add on more features after I took the time to explain to him the benefits of them.
That's an awesome name. That ties again to soft skills, especially with handling customers and what have you. That's definitely something that we look forward, in this position. So that's fantastic to hear. It kind of ties into where I'm at right now when you're discussing items with customers, I suppose. Describe for me a time where you had to break down a technical product for a customer who wasn't really technically inclined and didn't know the product specifically.
So when working in inside sales support for a technology company, we often installed software and redid like licensing for, technologies and stuff. And I worked with a lot of older people that worked for, like parishes and school boards and stuff. So I very often had to walk through the steps of how to install certain items, open this page here, click this here, jump on a video chat to guide them through, or I wasn't so much, networking into people's computers, but I have a lot of experience talking through troubleshooting things with clients.
That's awesome. Yeah. Definitely highlighting more soft skills and being able to utilize that technical knowledge at more of a basic level. That's great. Can you tell me a specific situation where your background in IT and product sales helped close a sale?
Yeah, so where I'm currently at, it's nothing to do with IT sales. But we do have a lot of online and like video stuff that can help patients see how to use their new products, how to put in contacts. We also have like systems where we patients can order stuff for themselves, and they're constantly getting locking themselves out and having to help them get back in. So in helping one particular patient, they were having trouble ordering their contacts, so they just stopped. Um, so we followed up with them a couple months later, like, hey, I've noticed it's been a while since you ordered your contacts. Is there anything I can help you with? And they're like, yeah, I hate using that website. I don't know how to work it. I can't use it. I'm just not going to order them from y'all anymore. So I was able to set up everything for the patient on my end. They were able to easily access. I sent them a link. All they had to do was click a button and confirm their order. So from that experience, they learned like all you got to do is kind of reach out for help and
Yeah.
stuff. And we were also able to retain them as a customer.
That's awesome. It sounds like you do great work taking care of your customers and taking care of the business that you're currently working at, and you do a great job with your sales experience and what have you. So that's great. That's awesome. Um, Finally, can you share for me an example of where you specifically negotiated down a better deal for a product for a client?
Yeah, so when I was working for a sheet metal manufacturer, I would make quotes for different projects, like big arch structures and stuff, and I would quote out little sheet metal parts and screws and all these things. And we had a long-term client that was really, really pushing to get a project done that they needed for the year, and they just couldn't push at the price that they were currently going. So me and some of the other sales team went out and, started talking to other vendors that we were currently working with to see if there was anything we could do to help match the price lower than what we were currently getting it from. And from many, many meetings, we were able to find another company that was willing to work with us and excited to work with us and able to get the price down a lot lower for the customers. And we got to finish out their project at the price that they needed.
That's awesome. It takes a lot of dedication and skill to do something like that. It's really, really cool. That's cool. Well, that's the last of the questions today. For the purposes to summarize, you share with me how you got into sales, what makes you a driven person, your future goals, and where you want to be in this industry. You described to me how you explain technical products to clients, customer relationships, and overcame challenges, and also negotiated successful deals with various customers. Does that sound correct to you?
Yes, sir. That summarizes everything very well.
And is there anything else you'd like to add for me?
Other than just expressing how excited I am to have gotten to speak with you today and that you took in the time to hear what I had to say. Um, that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you again for taking the time to get with me and to interview for this position. I've really enjoyed hearing about your background experience and skill set here in sales, and I'll be in touch with you about any further development we have in this position. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you.